Now, Effective Communication with Phil Zeller, CEO, Dale Carnegie, Southwest Michigan.
Have you heard of this one? Improving yourself is a lot more profitable than trying to improve others. Ha ha! You want to put the bet down, put it on you, baby. You got this. You got this. How much time do we spend? Talking about other people? I mean, this show is about effective communication, and we think about what are we focused on in our conversations with people. What's that internal dialogue? What's that external dialogue that we're putting out there for people? And what is it leading to? And interestingly enough, Dale Carnegie found in all his research is that the most profitable thing we can work on is ourselves. What can we do to be more effective in the way that we relate, the way that we communicate, the way that we lead with people? And that's what we discuss every time on the show is simple ways to do that. Common sense ways. You know, I don't have to take you to a major university and put you in an executive MBA program to figure out that we're dealing with human beings here. You know, we can theorize till the cows come home, as they say out in the West. But you know what? The cows aren't coming home right now. We don't have time for that. We need to focus. We need to get things done. And the reality is this. Dale Carnegie found out that if you are not in the process of becoming the person you want to be, then you are automatically engaged in becoming the person you don't want to be. How profound is that? You know, if we're not actively going after what we want to be, then we're just going to be whatever we are, and that's probably not what we want to be. And it seems so simple. And all day long, I'm in conversations with people, talking with them, and then I start to really, I can't help it. I can't help it. I watch the news and I watch other things, and people always think it's a little awkward. They say, Phil, you know, and my mother-in-law said, why do you watch the news? It's so negative. And I said, because I'm watching the news to watch how they communicate and how they relate. And she said, what? I said, yeah, I'm kind of dissecting the way that they're setting themselves up and the way that they're presenting the information and where they're trying to take the information and what effect they're trying to have on their audience. And she's like, you're doing what? And I said, yeah, that's the line of work that I'm in. I'm breaking down communication all the time. What are people really saying? And we don't oftentimes think about it unless you're in the field. It's like talking to somebody. I always say, if you want to know how to do something, talk to the person who does it every single day. Talk to the person who's immersed in it, who does that job every day. I know that those people know, because they have their hands in it every day, that they're the person that can tell you what's going on and why it's going on. Same thing in the field of communication, which I live in every day with human nature, is I'm breaking down what people do to be successful in producing results with other people through the way they communicate. Straightforward, simple, makes sense. Well, you probably listen to the show today and say, well, Phil, I don't have time to do that. That's why I'm listening to your show, because I got all these other things that my family needs me to do, my friends need me to do, and don't even get me started on what I need to do for the office and for my employees and the people I work with and everybody else, right? Or if you're a professor at a university, what are you going to do for your students and what difference are you going to make in their lives and how are you going to engage them and get them to come to class this week is what's on your mind, right? So these are all the things that we need to think about, but it begins with the way we communicate. What is the language that we're using? So realize that happiness is not a destination, it's a state of mind. And if we want to be in a positive state of mind and we want to become the person we want to become, well, we have to start communicating as if we're that person. If you think it and you act it, you will become it. This is not a new concept that goes back thousands and thousands of years, but it begins with you thinking about it. So take inventory right now. Think about the conversations you've had today. Think about the conversations you had this past week. How'd they turn out? Were they positive? Were they productive? Did the person you were speaking with, were they appreciative? Did they realize? Did you have a mutual shared goal where you came out the back end and said, yeah, I gained this from the conversation and you gain this and we gain this and together we grow and we learn and we improve and we mature and we evolve as a human being. How cool is that? So if you're looking at your conversations, you got to ask yourself, what are they focused on? What is the outcome? And you have to be intentional, just like with your life, to be able to go where you want to go. And you got to be focused on having that intentional life. You got to be focused on your communications, being intentional about where do you want the conversation to end. And a lot of times people don't take the time to think about this, but every conversation you go into, it's going to end up somehow. It's going to end up somehow. There's going to be something coming out of that conversation. Is it going to be good? Is it going to be bad? Is it going to be indifferent? What is it going to be? So the challenge that you have, understanding that 90% of management issues arise from communication, and the biggest lost revenue in American business is poor communication. Biggest reason relationships break up in our personal lives is because of bad communication, it probably makes sense that we would focus on each conversation and where do we want it to end up. Spend a couple extra seconds processing where's the conversation going to go. What result do you want? And notice I use the term result. Control is a fool's pipe dream. You don't have control over other people. That's a myth. Dale Carnegie wrote the book, How to Win Friends and Influence People. Leadership is about influence, not control. That's bad management. So it's about results. So always focus on the results. The results are what matter. And in every communication, every outcome, what result did you get? Was it the one you wanted? So go ahead and go out there and focus on the results of your communication. Make sure they're all positive, and you will reap the benefits of being a much more effective results-based communicator.